Hi there, welcome back. This is for the short, hopefully, rules overview of Zimby Mojo. First of all, what's happening here? Well, us, the players, you are the shaman of a tribe of ferocious, conniving little cannibals called Zimbies. That's these guys. Okay? They are your fanatically devoted followers and a large source of your power. All you need is the cannibal crown to secure your rule over the Zimby tribes. Kill the king, get the crown, get out. You have decided to send your Zimbies into the current king's compound to kill him. Here's his compound. And take his crown. So have all the other shamans. So get in there, get the crown. Now, the designer, Jim Felly, describes this game extremely accurately as co-opportunistic, and it is absolutely co-opportunistic because you have to cooperate. There is no way you can get into Kill the King unless you're in a column with another tribe, at least one other tribe, because only that way can you open up the elemental seals that match the wards and remove one to get into kill the Cannibal King in the first place. Once there's a way in, or the Cannibal King's dead, it's a free-for-all. It's just mayhem then, and it's all kicking off. And it's the first person to get that crown, carry the crown, kill the king, carry the crown, and get it out to their tribal board and onto the board, and they will win the game. And it's very much, I would say, plays out almost like the second part, it's almost like a cat and mouse and game of football where you're waiting for that perfect opening to score the goal, as in getting the king's crown onto your board. So, brief rules overview. Let's try and go through it now. Right, columns. I think so. The general rule with the Zimby columns are this: you can have a maximum of 3 of one tribe in a column. So you could have 3 of the blue ones in the column as well, and 3 of the yellow ones. That is a legal column. It's going to move very slow. It counts as one creature still, and on every person's turn, the yellow shaman player could move it and control it and take it where he wanted to, and so could the blue and so could the brown. But for instance, that is a 9 Zimby column, and 9 or more is 1 tile for 4 mojo. And the most optimal way is just a 2 Zimby column, or a 1 or 2 Zimby column will move up to 4 tiles for 1 mojo. So as you can see, as it gets heavier, it gets slower. Very thematic. There can never be more than 3 of one tribe in a column. But even if there was 2 tribes in that column, 3 yellow and 1 blue, on the blue player's turn he would still control that column. That's basically how a column works. If there is a column like this, there's blue in this column, there's blue in this column cannot fight with that column because they have like-minded tribes in there. Not in adjacent combat, but they can using witcheries, which is from the card. Okay, we may as well talk about attacking now and brutality. So a Zimby on its own has a brutality of 2. If there is a column of 3 Zimbies, they have a brutality of 3. Every time there's combat, you roll a d6. Now, they have to be, for hand-to-hand combat, for instance, they have to be adjacent. So if this Zimby column here wanted to take out that blue, it would come next to it. Each would roll, say the blues roll in the white, the yellows roll in the black. That is 3 plus 1, 4. The blue one got 5 plus 1, 6. The difference is 2, and 2 of these Zimbies would be killed and sent to the far shore. But there is no outright winner because there's still part of the creature there, there's still one there, so they will be combat locked, and you only fight on your turn once. So if it was the yellow one that started the combat, when it comes to blue's turn, blue must fight, has no choice, blue must fight the yellow. If blue manages to win the yellow, then he will move onto the tile. If you're defending, you stay where you are if you win. But if you are attacking and you beat the other creature, you move onto its tile. Not only is the modification with the amount of Zimbies in the pile, like in the stack, like we explained, and rolling the d6, but also there's cards to modify as well. And if we look at some cards, there's 3 different types of cards. And I think I planted 3 on top. Yes, I did. There's witcheries, there's rituals, and there's incantations. And there's quite a lot of information on a card, but it tells you the mojo cost. This one costs 3 mojo. It is a witchery, and it will attack a Zimby, a Fug, or the Cannibal King. And it's a death curse, this one. And it says the target sustains 1d4 wounds. These wounds may not be prevented by armour. Now, a witchery is channeled through one of your active Zimbies on the board, or you can use it on anybody's active Zimby. They're very fast. Witcheries happen very fast. So if the rule is that the target of the witchery has to be within line of sight of the Zimby channeling it, and the line of sight is three tiles away and not round corners, and then the witchery can take effect. So 1d4 would simply be rolling the rolling the d4, and as it happens, that would be 4. So that would add 4 wounds on. So as you can see, the cards are going to help out a lot. That's a witchery. We also have incantations. Incantations are cool. Now, the amount of incantations, there is a limit of incantations that can be used in play to be active, and it's 1 plus half the number of players rounded up. So in a 3-player game, it's going to be 1. Half the number of players rounded up is 2, so there's a maximum of 3 of these allowed to be active in a 3-player game. And how incantations work is, you would have the incantation, it counts towards your hand limit, which is at refresh you have to discard down to 6. So you could possibly have at least 7 cards in play, but refresh discard down to 6. It counts towards your hand limit. And an active Zimby, thematically still on your tribal board, but you place him on the incantation, on the symbol itself, and he's chanting magic, and channeling it so that your Zimbies out on the board can do some fantastic things. This one costs 1 mojo to use. Place an active Zimby on him, and its target shaman's tribal Zimby column limit is 4 Zimbies. So if you target it on your own column, the rule, like we said before, that you can only have 3, you could actually have 4. And he will remain there. He could remain there for the entire game unless that limit of, in a 3-player game, 3 incantations, if another player brought out a 4th one, they could do that, and randomly one of the others in play, you'd do it by a die roll. So, for instance, if 3 players had an incantation, you could do 1 to 2. It would be the blue player, 3 to 4 the yellow player, and 5 to 6 the brown player would lose their incantation. The Zimby would go to the far shore, and the incantation would get discarded. So that's how incantations work. And then we have rituals. This one costs 2 mojo. And this is energy. Target shaman, remember the players of the shamans, may make active 1 plus 1d3 depleted Zimbies on their tribal board. As you use Zimbies as mojo, you can use the mojo here and flip it over this is the currency of the game that they get refreshed at the end of the turn, or you can actually use your active Zimbies and deplete them to use as Mojo too. So it's quite versatile, and this ritual would let you make them active again, some active again, and that would be 1 plus 1 D3. So a D3, a 1 to 2 would be a 1, a 3 to 4 would be a 2, and a 5 to 6 would be a 3 on a D6 plus the 1. So in this case that would be 1 plus 2, so that would be 3. So I could actually turn over 3. So very powerful, very good. Cost 2 Mojo to use in the first place. And there's lots and lots and lots and lots of different cards. There is the about 9, I think, promo cards that you can get from Devious Weasel website in here, and there's some cool ones that are just an empty vessel that do nothing, and they're quite cool when a player draws one of them up, because you know, they're hoping for something good every turn. Right, movement. How do we get our Zimbies onto the board? Right, a couple of ways. We can use Mojo. So on our turn, you can only move your Zimbies on your own turn. Cards you can use on other players' turns, but the Zimby movement only on your own turn. You can flip a Mojo over, and 1 to 2 Zimbies in a stack of 2, a column of 2 I should say, can move up to 4. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, for instance. I spend another Mojo, I could move another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I spend another Mojo, I could move another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've hit a portal now. So when you hit a portal and you're moving across the board, it will randomly bring you out at one of the other portals. Now, to do that, what you can do is say, well, this is portal 1, even though it's portal 2 that we've labelled it with these counters, but just for moving on to it, if we call it number 1, 2, 3, 4, then we roll the D6, and a 1 to 2, he's going to move here, 3, 4 here, and 5, 6 here. So in this case, he would be moving to there. He'd warp to there. If he warped to there, and there was another creature, be it a thug, a zombie, or another Zimby, then that would automatically bounce it back to where you entered. So they'd like switch, which is a pretty cool feature. Now, you can switch off a portal. If I was moving to here, if I spent 3 Mojo, I've turned off the portal system, because you have to go through a portal. So for each Mojo, I can switch off a portal of my choice. But if for free, I could switch them all off and just move across the portal. Or I could spend 1 Mojo, say I'm switching off this portal here, and I'm guaranteed coming out one of the 2 up here. If I spent 2 Mojo, I'm definitely guaranteeing which portal I'm coming out. Say I wanted to guarantee coming out of this portal number 4 here, all I'd have to do is spend 2 Mojo when I enter this portal to switch off portal 3, portal 1, and guarantee coming out portal 4, for instance. So that's movement coming out from your tribal board onto the board, but there's a direct port where you can move your Zimbies onto the board using portals. So what you can do is say, I'm just going to use the portal, so spend a Mojo, flip it over, I'm going to put 2 out onto the board, and I'm going to roll the D4 to see which portal they come out of. It's 3, so number 3 is here, and they move straight to there. I can then spend Mojo to then move them off, and it's a good idea, 1, 2, 3, 4, to move them off a portal, because portals get a lot of use and you could get bounced back. If you're on a portal and somebody's warping their Zimbies in on their turn, so they're not already on the board, they're warping them in, you get bounced off onto your tribal. Right, that concludes part 1 of the rules. Join us next time for part 2.